Greetings, Dungeon Delvers, and welcome to yet another exciting chapter of A Tale D20's Descent into the Void, where six friends journey together to tell a story of mythic proportion.
Gather round, gather round. Let me tell you a tale of life and death, of joy and sorrow, a tale of D20s.
So, without further ado, let's remove the bookmark and continue our epic tale. Last time, Liberators. After an encounter with an unknown undead entity, you decided that, being low on funds, you needed to take on a quest to replenish it. Coming to the conclusion to not take the lucrative quests of the Corporus, you went to the Light District's town hall and found interest in 3 quests. Deciding that 2 of them were unworthy of your efforts, you joined forces with a dwarven elderly man demon hunter by the name of Koben and headed back to his demon hunting headquarters after he briefed you on a mission that he needed assistance with. A water demon was plaguing the rivers to the south, and the towns nearby were being terrorized, unable to use the river as a resource any longer. After collecting yourselves at his place, you all traveled to the entrance of the city and headed south with using the magic of King's new Chastafold, turning into unicorns until you arrived at your destination. There you battle a ravaging beast of the river, with King tapping into a previously unknown part of his vagary, as well connecting with Duran and the Mark of the Stellai. Marveled by your prowess, Koben paid you 1,000 gold pieces and revealed himself to be a member of the Corporus Arcana at some point, to which Horatio did the same, letting Koben know of his lineage. He was enthralled and ecstatic, and then at the presence of a Dularian, and you all decided to rest before heading off to the town to the south. So, Liberators, with only a couple days left before the gala and your meeting with the king, you make your way on horseback toward the town, which at this point you can see in the distance. The rushing waters of the river fades away as the light of small houses become into view. The wind is blowing in your hair as you slow down before reaching a large golden field of grass stretching farther than the eyes can see. And beyond that is an open gate to what looks to be a village. Lightning begins to crackle in the sky as thunder echoes throughout the landscape and rain starts to shower down onto you. What do you all do next?
Do you think they have a tavern?
I thought it was just this family's ranch. They might have some ale, though.
Oh, they'll definitely let us get inside something. It's pouring out here.
It's refreshing. But we should go. Come on. Koben, you lead the way. You know the family. And you're the one that took the quest.
Koben is on behind you. So he's riding on the horse behind you, King. But he kind of goes, just keep heading forward. Don't worry, this is a Goldgrass Ranch. They're kind people. They'll let us in, especially if they see me. I've spoken to them a few times.
It's just the family's ranch, not a town, right?
Oh no, it's actually a small village. Originally it was a ranch, but then it grew as more people came in from refuge from the elements and the demons. They even have their own crystal and dew, albeit they're running a little low.
Should we go to the tavern then? Direct us there.
Certainly, they do have a marvelous tavern. Just keep heading forward throughout these tall grass here. Try not to trample on them. They use this.
Right, and I'll lead our unicorns the way he suggests around the golden grass.
Okay, so you go a little bit around it. It stretches a bit, but you try to go to where there's a smaller area so you're not trampling against their crops, and begin walking across. As you get closer and closer, the lightning continues to crackle in the air as the rain is starting to come down really heavily, obscuring your vision slightly. But nevertheless, you can still clearly see the lights that are shining in the distance. Eventually, you walk up towards the gate. You can see that it's a wooden perimeter around this town, although there's holes in between them, so you can kind of see into this small village. There are no guards at the front, and it doesn't seem to be anyone. The road eventually becomes more like a cobblestone road as you start to clack the unicorn hooves against it, and you walk up towards the large open gate. Koben goes over and says, "Oh, everyone must be inside. Come on, let's go. It's this way." And he points towards the center of the village. So as you all start to walk down into the village, you see before you a lot of stone and straw huts and things that are completely different than the cities that you've been to prior. It doesn't look to be very fancy here, though it does seem to be pretty numerous in its buildings. Everything seems to be empty at this point. Remember, you guys took a half day getting here, so it's pretty late into the evening as you are traveling, although you cut the half day a little bit, so it's not too late due to your speedy unicorns. Eventually, kind of in the town center, there is a fountain, which all of you roll me a perception check at disadvantage as it is raining. All right, so we have King with a 9, Monaco with a 7, Duran with a 16, Horatio with an 11, and Cal with an 18.
If I may point out, both Cal and Horatio dropped a nat 20.
That rain blocking the lightning kind of crackles again and it booms against your ears. Cal, you're a storm dancer, so none of this truly affects you and you're able to just see through it. The rest of you, Duran sees this as well with his keen elven eyes. The rest of you can't make out a lot of the scenery due to the rain and the torrential storm that's starting to pick up. You do see at the center of this village is a fountain, specifically with a statue of Cal. You definitely recognize, and Duran, you would recognize it by now as well, to be Gaia pouring water into this fountain. Also looks just like Horatio's mother, as he had pointed out so long ago. Nevertheless, there is a large 2-story tavern stretching many feet across, where you see here boisterous noises and lots of lights on in the distance. But eventually, Koben does kind of look over at the statue, give a bow towards it as you guys are trotting on the unicorns, and continue walking past it until you get to the entrance of this double-tiered tavern. And there does seem to be places where you can tie up horses and things like that.
Okay, once we're sort of in like the stable area and there's like a roof over our head, I'll say, careful everyone, to alert them of me returning Chasufold. And once I see that they're all prepared so they don't fall, I'll recall it into its staff form.
All right, everyone, you all jump off or prepare yourselves, and Chasufold turns from the unicorn shape back into pieces of the long spear-like staff that is Chasufold before combining together, floating right next to King. Koben looks on over and says, "This is quite a marvel. Oh, it's amazing. I'll never get used to this. Well, shall we head in?"
Just a moment, and I'll walk over to Monaco, and I will dance my fingers in the air, and petals will start to fall from her head to her toes, and prestidigitate her clean, since I know she did not like being wet.
Oh, thank you. Oh, you're always so kind and also so powerful, man.
I just want to make sure that my friends are comfortable, and if anyone else wants to be refreshed, I can do that for you as well. And I sort of create this like petal archway for people to sort of like walk through and get prestidigitated clean for a moment.
I will walk through before going into the tavern.
Before we go into the tavern, should we put on? There are people who might be looking for us.
I think we should be fine.
Yeah,
We're
Duran, I think
far away.
we should have these people recognize us for the deed that we just did. We don't want them to misidentify us as they tell tales of us, right?
Correct. I think we should be the Liberators.
I was only thinking of Koben's safety.
Koben turns to you and says, "Oh, I'll be quite fine. Like I said, I know the people here. I remember when this town was grown so much in the years. It used to be just a small ranch, and then look at it. People have flocked here. But not to worry, they're all nice people. There's no need to hide yourselves." And he also passes through the archway and cleans himself with the prestidigitation.
Horatio would also pass by and clean himself and say, "Thank you, King."
Of course. All right, now that we're all refreshed, let's go. Koben, you know the family. Could I trouble you to introduce us?
Of course. And he goes to the door. It looks more like a sliding door, this door specifically. So he grabs the one side and kind of slides it over as it opens up. He steps in completely dry, so leaving no water traces. And as he does, the first thing you all sense is the smell of fresh cooked bread, warm soup, and you hear the crackling of a hearth not too far away. Stepping inside, it is very warm and bright. There are several people around several different tables having a jolly old time, as well as people walking down staircase. There is a definite bar area where there are people who are sitting at stools and being served. But as you all begin to enter, everything stops and everyone just kind of stares and looks back at you. Koben walks up. Everyone, don't worry. Hi, it is I, the demon hunter Koben. I come with great news. Please, gather round. It's about the demon that's been plaguing you. And an old man, probably just about as old as Koben, but human, not dwarf, and much frailer, though probably around the same height, walks up carrying a cane. He has gray hair and wrinkles on his face. And he kind of walks up slowly and says, "Oh, Master Koben, what news do you bring us about the demon?" And Koben goes, "Well, actually, I'll let my new friends explain. Let me introduce you. Everyone, this is," and he looks on over, King, Duran, Monaco, Cal, and Horatio. They are known as the Liberators. So, if you will do the honors," and he says, looking at King first.
It's a pleasure to meet you all. Yes, we were able to help Koben defeat the water demon that was plaguing your lands. It was also sullying the waters as well, making them putrid and toxic, but that has been neutralized. I'm King, and I'll offer a bow after that statement.
The gentleman walks up to you and goes, You defeated the demons? Gracious be the Trius. Everyone, the demon has been defeated. Where are my men? Everyone starts cheering and clapping, and he goes, "Where are my manners? I'm the mayor of this town. You can call me Yannicka Tori."
Yannicka, it is a pleasure to meet you.
Oh, the pleasure is all mine. Come, you must be hungry. Would you like some food, some drink?
Oh, yes, please. We have only had some snacks on the way.
Of course. Please, bring us our finest meals for our heroes. And he says, and everyone, like, the music picks up again as people are like the bard, or you could assume a bard or whoever's playing the music begins playing, and it becomes lively again. People are chatting. People are now starting to come up and crowd around you, of all shapes and sizes, and they all talking at once, asking questions. How'd you do it? What is it like? What? Do you have cool ears? And kids are like kind of pulling around you. It's kind of a mess, but nevertheless, the mayor walks back and goes back into the crowd and begins giving orders. Koben turns to you. Have a seat. I can see you guys are very popular. Go make yourselves at home. I have some business to take care of. And he goes and walks off into the tavern.
I would say King would make sure that our party has some food. I'm sure a table will clear out for us, and entertain some of the questions while we wait for our meal.
There's one large table that almost looks... It's a very... I don't want to say a backwater town, but you can tell that it's not fancy at all. But they do have one large wooden table, square table, or rectangular table that stretches down a little bit. That's in the middle of this kind of mess hall-like area. There people were, and all of them get up and like move their plates and kind of usher you towards there, having you all kind of sit at the head as other people sit down as well, pulling chairs from the side and begin surrounding you, asking all types of questions. One little girl goes up to you, Horatio, and says, "Never seen an adventurer," as Monaco and Cal, two other children, come and start pulling on your horns.
Oh, hi, little one. I'm a wizard. I used magic to help my allies.
Oh, magic? Show us some magic!
Horatio would just use Mage Hand to kind of tap him on the shoulder, or tap the child on his right shoulder, and then just wave once the child looks at the hand.
The child and all the other children around you are just like, ooh, their eyes light up and become wobbly, and stars shine in their eyes. Meanwhile, Monaco, Cal, you just have children kind of pulling on your tail, pulling on your horns and so on, and playing around with it.
Oh, not the tail. Hold on.
Oh, you all have a lot of energy. Is it late?
A woman comes by and she says, "I'm so sorry, so sorry, kind adventurers. They're children. Please leave the adventurers alone. They need to eat." And they go, "Aww," and they begin to run off.
Before one of the children leaves, I say, "Hey, here." And I snap my fingers and Hootie pops up right on their head. You could play with that guy while we're here.
They all look in shock and they begin playing around as Hootie starts flying around the inside of this tavern while the kids run around as well. It seems like more or less the entire town's probably in here. And you when you guys entered, one thing you didn't notice, although you did feel that this place was protected by Heaven's Dew, and Coben has already deactivated his, albeit not as strong as what you're used to the other cities, but you didn't see where the crystal was. But nevertheless, you guys are sitting at the table, food is brought before you, and it's not the best meal that you've seen, You've had royal food, you've had Monaco's food, and this looks like quaint food. You can eat, there's porridge and bread, and that's it.
Like Denny's?
Like Denny's. A little less than Denny's. Denny's a little nice.
Sorry fans who like Denny's.
Horatio still eats the food. He doesn't give him any faces or gives any weird looks. And he's just kind of sitting there taking a look around and taking it all in.
King I'll take the first bite and notice how particularly bland it is, and then prestidigitate each bite after that to be flavored good for himself. So that way it goes down easily.
Okay.
Cal eats his food very thankfully after being out in the cold rain.
Monaco's just smiling at Horatio, and she looks down at her plate and kind of stirs her spoon around and mutters a dark incantation, and will prestidigitate it to be slightly just more delicious.
Okay. So the mages, you go ahead and, with the exception of Horatio, prestidigitate your meals, and you took the first bite, very bland, mediocre, but now it's delicious. The rest of you eat it and just it's edible, and complete the meal as you begin chomping down onto it. About some time passed, and people have been asking you questions here and there as it passes by, but eventually as the waiters and waitresses there go and start filling your cups with, if you want it could be alcohol. If not, you can have any drink you want, but they do have several jugs of wine, beer, and so on and so forth. The mayor, Yannicka, kind of hobbles over again once people start to part their ways, and says, "Thank you, everyone, for protecting us. I was just speaking with Coben," and as he said that, Coben walking up behind him. "Really, we didn't expect to be liberated," he says, chuckling after knowing your name, "from the demons so soon. We were going to partition a quest to the city to have someone come down here, and we gathered funds. Please, we don't have much, but we'd like to give you this as thank you." And he slides over a small chest. As he opens it up, you see inside are a collection of copper, silver, and gold pieces, as well as 3 bottles of potions. He says, There's about 1,000 gold here, and they're only just regular healing potions, but I'm sure they can help you in your journey. Please, this is the least we can do."
Not a problem. These are more than enough, and we thank you. This surely will cover our costs, and we are glad to help those in need.
With the river demon gone, will your community be safe now?
Well, we're never truly safe with demons afoot, but at least now we could go and do fishing, and I'm sorry that the meals that you have there aren't the best. We have been unable to get meals and resources that we normally have due to the poisoning of the rivers. But I'm sure with the demon gone, it will clear up, and hopefully the wildlife will return.
In due time, I think so. Do you have sufficient dew and crystals to sustain your village?
He kind of looks over at Coben and looks kind of solemn and looks back to you. We have, due to what we've heard rumors of the undead afoot. We haven't received our normal shipment of crystal and dew, and we haven't any clerics here to go on their own, nor will we have anyone go out there in the dangers. So we're running low, but we're sure that the Unity Knights will come by soon. We trust King Terminus.
I'll look towards Monaco and I'll say, after this meal, do you think we should help them replenish their supplies?
Would you join me for a dance, King?
I would love to. Can you show us to your stores after we eat? I am, simply put, a divine being and have the ability to conjure forth dew, and we might be able to help you. I can't promise much, but we can try. Totally feigning the fact that we've done miracles upon miracles.
He turns to you and says, yes, I can show you where we keep our crystals and dew. Like I said, there isn't much left. Yes, I can show you where they are. Do you want to go now, or would you like to wait a bit and finish your meals?
I believe Minako wanted to finish her beer first, right? And this porridge is... I just want to enjoy it while it's still warm.
And certainly.
How about in an hour or so? Maybe 30 minutes?
Sure, I'll be over here if you need anything. And he points over to where the front desk area would be. There seems to be a small table and a chair, and he kind of hobbles over there. Thank you again, Liberators, thank you. And he hobbles over there and takes his seat. So, is there anything particular you want to do? Or do you want to finish up eating?
After talking with him for like a minute or so, how do his stats compare to mine as far as strength and level?
He is levels beyond you, no. And levels below you. So, not even registering on your scans as a blip.
Okay.
But did he have a tail that disappeared? You don't know, I'm just kidding now.
Stop playing with us, DM.
Anyone could be deja vu.
Because I will fireball this whole fucking place right now.
They're all deja vu!
But yeah, so you guys finish your meals, finish your beer, wine, and other things they give you. Everything they've given you has been particularly normal, bland, decent. But nevertheless, they give you what they had. None of you, it's not particularly strong, the alcohol, so none of you feel the urge to be drunk, the drunken urge or anything like that. But Koben kind of goes and sits next to you. It's a nice place, isn't it?
Yeah, very cozy.
It is quite cozy.
And their beds are very comfortable. I've talked to him. We can have free stay here. And then we can leave out into the morning, unless you want to leave out tonight. I don't know if you're on a schedule or not.
I can also bring us back to the Dust District if we really need to get back into the city.
How can you do that? Do you have some type of teleportation magic?
You could say so.
You never cease to amaze me. Well, we could use that, definitely.
It's a little taxing, so unless it's necessary...
I don't think it is necessary. I think we could stand to rest.
I figured you'd say as much, Horatio, but I'm not going to stand in opposition. It's fine. I enjoy riding on my unicorn.
Just don't want you hurting yourself.
Or others.
It's a great point.
Koben, before he gets up and goes, first, Koben kind of looks on over to you after standing up, finishing the last bite of his bread, and says, there's one thing, there's a couple things I have to take care of here. Some people I would like to see, but, I just have a question. What was that? Was that demon dancing that I saw that you do? And he looks on over at at everyone with the exception of Horatio, who used their bakeries last. All of you, and then stopping his pointing at Horatio. I've never seen any demon dancing in person before. That was quite impressive. You flew, pointed around, and you cured the waters of their ailments, and then you were like lightning, and then you controlled the earth like it was just your plaything. That was miraculous.
We're learning. We're still, practicing. We're not official or anything, but...
It was amazing nonetheless. If you don't mind, I would... Well, I have a bit of, clout with the local wizards in the Light District. They would be marvelous to know about you. Maybe they'll have possible jobs in the future. Though, I would like to discuss possibly a partnership. I know before we said that you don't work for me, of course not, but I mean, we do such a great job battling demons. I wouldn't mind you all joining the demon hunters of the Light District. You could, it is a especially how once people learn of how successful we were in freeing this, then I'm sure the jobs will be pouring in.
Yeah, let us discuss that, and we'll get back to you. Sounds like an interesting proposition.
We should jump on it.
I think you just want to kill demons, Cal.
Cal never backs down from an opportunity to fight demons.
I may be biased.
Give us time to think about it.
You could take all the time you need, of course, and I'm sure that a Master Dularian, he says, bowing towards you, would make only the wisest of choice. And then he walks away, putting on his cloak and opening up the doors as the rain starts pouring down. He lifts his hand, kind of spinning it around as he precipitates the rain around him and makes it so it doesn't fall onto him, walking through the rain. And he closes the door behind him.
Well, what say you, Mr. Dularian Gain?
Horatio gives like a side-eye look, but not like mad or just like a smiling side-eye, like I'm still not used to that type of reaction.
You'll get there.
I think it's just because he isn't in the corporis.
He's not an active member. What is it, like 1 in 4 now?
Yeah.
Maybe he knew of your parents.
It's a possibility. I mean,
You never asked him.
no, I will later. I figured.
We have a long ride ahead of us. I'm sure we can bring it up then, at least.
Yeah.
You can have him accompany you on the ride, so that way you can have your conversation then.
Yeah, sure. Are you guys gonna help with the crystals and the dew?
I think that the village would get overrun if they run out of supplies. You saw how quickly demons attacked us when our shields were down.
I agree.
Yeah.
All of that work we just did would be for naught.
Horatio, as you guys are having this conversation, he pulls out the water skin of Heaven's Dew that he has, and he hands it to King, and he says, that has Heaven's Dew in it. That should help.
I'm gonna push it back into his hands and say I can make him more. I practically sweat it.
I understand that you can make it, but doesn't using your energies hurt?
No, not that.
This is a blessing from Nyx, not drawing from somewhere else.
Yeah.
Alright.
Whew. Says Duran.
Oh, while we're on the subject, roll me 3 d4s, King.
Dang.
King or Duran?
Well,
It would be Duran. Oh, it doesn't matter.
Damn.
No.
You're
Okay.
so mean to me.
So Duran, roll 3D.
9. Okay. So, Duran, you feel as if 9 years of your life has been pulled off of you. Is that a gray hair? No. You were freaking out, but it wasn't. But still, you definitely feel the pull from the last battle start to seep in.
Duran smiles through it.
So, I believe your total is now 10 years?
Yes, it was 1 year and now 9.
All right. So, what do you guys want to do? Not Koben. Yannicka is sitting over at the desk waiting for you. People are like saying thank you, Liberators, as they walk by, but they're giving you your space now.
After we finished, I'll see if Monaco. I'll say, shall we dance?
Let's.
Go meet Yannicka.
Okay. Walking on over, Yannicka sees you with his eyes wide open and says, thank you all. So did you want me to take you to our supply of Heaven's Dew and crystals?
Where do you have your active crystal and Heaven's Dew for this village? I think that's the location we should be.
Oh, why, it's right in the center. The greatest of goddesses, Gaia, bestows us with her blessing. Her statue is in the town center, just outside of these doors. There is a mixture of, we don't have much, so we kind of mix Heaven's Dew with just water. And it works, and the crystal's embedded within her chest, and they're creating the perimeter of symphony.
All right. Does it look like is it gonna pour for the whole evening, or does it any signs of it slowing?
It doesn't seem like it's been slowing. You can hear the rain really coming down.
Well, if we plan to leave, maybe tomorrow morning. What do you think, Monaco?
I think that if it's anything like when last time we tried, doing it now would be just as good.
Okay, sure. Horatio, maybe you should join us for this one.
I'm sorry. What? Why?
The greatest goddess of the trees is blessing Goldgrass.
I can tag along.
Come on, it's not so hard.
I am not dancing.
Maybe just being there might be enough. Anyone's welcome to come. Please join us if you wish. And I offer this to Yannicka as well as any people who might be listening, as well as our own party.
Yannicka goes and says, I can get a coat and an umbrella, sure. I would love to see what deeds you adventurers are able to do. What do you have in mind, if you don't mind me asking?
Maybe you should just witness it and you'll see.
He goes and gets his things, and people are listening in there, and they're starting to whisper now, and people are trying to like put down the music stops, put down their plates and bowls, and start to slowly hover around you as you guys are starting to make your way towards the exit.
Once Horatio steps outside, he will try. I don't know if you will allow DM, but he will try to use his arcane ward, which still has HP, so it's still active, to kind of put it above his head and like create like a shield to get like an umbrella effect, so that the water doesn't fall on him.
It's fine, because you can need to do a prestidigitation as well, although I know you don't have it.
I do not have prestidigitation. That's why I'm seeking a alternative route towards staying dry.
All right. So as you all head outside and opening up the doors, the wind's blowing a little bit. It's not storming, more so just heavy pouring, with lightning crackling ever so often. Cal, the sound of the lightning does bring you some type of solace. As you are you heading out there as well, Cal?
I am heading out there as well, and I embrace the thunder cracks and flashes of light as I flip up my duster to keep as much water off of me as possible.
Okay. All right. So all of you, and Duran, I'm assuming you're going to.
Actually, Duran is going to suggest doing something differently. He actually wants to kind of patrol, like take a look at this, I don't know what you call it, village, town, farm, commune, and see what the defenses look like, just to get a better idea of how safe it is to spend the night there.
Okay. So you all head off. Duran goes off into his own. You walk off into the rain, kind of moving yourself along stealthily. Roll me a stealth check.
Awesome. And since it's like Mask of Wild, he's just gonna disappear right in front of them. He rolls a 23.
23, yeah. So you blend in with the natural surroundings, the bushes and the rain, and as the lightning crackles one last time, shining in all of your faces, Duran's there and then just gone. And Duran, you go off and start surveying the perimeter. The rest of you, though, step out into the water, making your way about 100 feet until you get to the large statue. Now that you're focusing on it, you can clearly see this is a statue of Gaia that you've seen paintings and art and other things and books and statues of her before. Horatio, this is your mother. Like down to, and like the statue itself, although everything else here is very rural or just kind of plain, this statue is very detailed. Every statue you've seen of the gods here, at least of the Aegis, have been extremely detailed, like the hair to the eyes, and then you see embedded, and she's carrying what seems to be a decanter that's pouring the water into this small fountain. From it, you can immediately sense, all you who are just have trained in Arcana, just the magic energy coming off of it. It's similar to that of any other Symphony, Heaven's Due formation, crystal formation, but you can see the crystal is embedded in her chest and is glowing very dimly, though. At this point, people are walking out and starting staring at you.
I'm assuming it's also kind of dark in this.
Oh yeah, it's always dusk, so it's always dim light.
Dim light. So I'm going to reach my hand out and say luminosity and use a sorcery point to cast light at a distance, which is not a concentration spell. So her decanter that she's pouring, I'm going to target that so it offers a glow in the radius around us and sort of lights up this space a little bit.
Okay, in doing so, the decanter begins to glow, and even so, you see now more brightly the glowing effect from the crystal that's embedded in her chest, and it's almost as if she begins to light up herself, creating a sort of warmth in the area, making it all visible as the people all around go, ooh.
So I'm going to say to Monako, maybe you should take the lead with this one and I'll be your backup. I'll follow you.
All right, just give me a sec to get ready. And she kind of like takes a couple steps away and like looks down and takes a deep breath. And then she looks up at Horatio and smiles, and then begins taking a couple steps in her dance.
All right.
I'm going to start dramatically, like 10 feet away from her. And as she gives me the signal to go, that she's ready, I'll start to dramatically like spin towards her and then like land in her arms and then start our duet.
And we dance together kind of in and out, the spins and kind of solid ground mixed with the flowing movements of King.
Horatio was looking at the statue of his mother, and then once Monako starts dancing, he shifts and starts looking at her.
All right. So go ahead and roll me a performance check at advantage, Monako.
Oh no, a 14. And as she's dancing, she feels a sort of like weight in her heart, and it definitely shows in her movements. And she will at one point kind of reach up into the air and hold onto something that other people can't see as she takes the hand of her patron for another spin, activating her Dark One's own luck ability to roll a d10 and add it to that.
All right.
A 5 for a total of 19.
Okay. Total of 19. So Monako, you begin dancing, King following your lead. You stumble a little bit, and as you do and reach up your hand, something catches it. The entity doesn't speak, but more so just carries your hand and begin flowing with the steps as well. And you start to pick up, and King, you start to follow the motion. You notice that it seems more like she's gone from taking the lead to now being led throughout this dance. But nevertheless, you continue with your dance as well, circling around the statue of Gaia. Focusing on the stone as you dance, all that, everyone looks on and marvels at the fluidity of your steps back and forth as you all, both of you, begin to have a small glow towards you. The waters around King and Monako and Horatio begin to almost slow down as the rain continues on all other areas, and as they begin to slow, the earth around the steps that they're making begins to become worked and folded in from every step that Monako is taking. As the waters and the earth tends to combine, it seems to coalesce and combine together. And as it does so, that energy that it forms begins to swirl around the crystal itself, and the crystal cracks a little bit. Not shatters, but more like it kind of and people are looking on just like, what? And it grows in a sense, or more so it reshapes itself, going from this normal diamond-shaped, like triangular shape that's embedded in a chest to more of a oblongish, fractal looking object as pieces begin to grow onto it, and the glow becomes a little bit brighter from it. The scenery starts to fade, and around both King, Horatio, and Monako, and everything that was originally just the bright light and the rain, the sound effects start to fade away, and then eventually the rain and all sensory input from the cold and all that disappears until it's just nothing but darkness as you guys are dancing around. The rest of you on the outside see a kind of a tiny a dome, a black dome encapsulate them, similar to that of, actually the rest of you wouldn't have recognized this, but the dome is almost exactly similar to the dome that Monako had interrupted back on the boat that when Horatio and King were communing together. And as you all kind of stop, and Horatio, you look around you, you notice that the statue of Gaia is no longer there. The Monako King, you notice that there's no more water. There's nothing else, just the three of you kind of walking throughout this empty void of darkness.
What happened? Oh no, did we mess it up?
You must have faith, King. We are enveloped in the blanket of Nyx.
You are right. How foolish of me. Shall we continue then? It looked like you were following for a moment. I did a few extra pirouettes to stay in sync, but you threw me off for a moment.
Indeed, sometimes we must look towards others to lead.
All right.
Does Horatio get any sense of where we're at?
You can roll an Arcana check, sure.
Also, I'll add that internally King understands that Monako said, like, you look to others to lead, and he's like, you didn't look to me to lead, you were looking to someone else. And I have that in my mind.
I rolled a 28 on that Arcana.
You definitely know that the one thing you feel is similar. It's almost identical to the feeling of when you transported with King twice before and saw those visions. And at that moment when you start to look around and notice that it's deja vu, not the deja vu, just the actual word. It's deja vu all over again. As in, like, you get that feeling it has happened before. The scenery shifts and changes, and all three of you will warp through space and time, similar to where you were before, and become onlookers to another scene. Looking down as you're floating above, almost like you're zipping throughout a bunch of scenery, like just everything flashes before, like a reel on film, until eventually you are pinpointed directly onto a solid spot. Looking down, what you see is a beautiful white room that even at where you are now, you have to cover your eyes for a second because it's so bright from the darkness that you were just in. Standing there in front of what looks to be some type of altar, you see a woman dressed in all black. Her skin just a tinge brighter than that, so you can see the difference between what she's wearing. Her clothes is flowing, and you can swear every so often there's a twinkle in her actual dress of constellations and different star formations, and they constantly shift back and forth. Eventually, you get close enough where you see her skin is more purple-like, and her eyes shine like stars and diamonds. And she looks on to what you see is a woman with flowing long hair, wearing a white kind of toga-like outfit, with adorned with beautiful jewelry and with a presence of power to her. Horatio, you immediately recognize this as Gaia. And the rest of you eventually, knowing Gaia, you see that this is the form of her. And she looks very distressed. As you're hovering there, she begins walking up and she says, Nix, what of news? What of Myliki? Did it work? Yes, it worked, but I don't know. I don't feel her presence anymore. What of the chaos? What of Eros and Erebus? And Gaia goes and walks up towards her, putting her fingers to her face. I can't feel their presence anymore. They don't listen to me. They're trying to tame the chaos, trying to destroy the Prolepsy. I fear they poisoned the mind of the other Aegis. I'm going to try something. I don't know if I'm going to survive, but if it will save all of us. No, please, Gaia, don't do this. I know what you're planning. You can't perform the ritual. It's too dangerous. You don't know what it can cause. I do know what it can cause. But if tearing the world asunder is the only way to save it from chaos, then I'll do what I must. I will. And she looks down. And she looks up with tears flowing from her eyes. I will be reborn again and again until one day I will bring it all back together. But I can't just leave everything now. I can't leave this in the hands of Eros and Erebus. Each are misguided, and if we leave them alone, they'll destroy everything. Especially Eros. He's tapped into something I've never seen before. An energy from a place long forgotten. It's not the abyss. It's something even more chaotic than that. And if he unleashes this, then there's nothing that we can do. So if I have to give up my immortal soul to save us all, then I will. Protect them. Nyx, find Myliki, restore the symphony, and stop chaos. I'm so sorry for what I've caused. I'm so sorry for what we Trius and the Aegis have done. We were misguided. And then Nyx turns and says, but if it wasn't for you, Gaia, I wouldn't be who I am right now. I love you like a sister. Please, there must be another way. And then before everything starts to fade away and turn back, Gaia looks on over towards Nyx and says, "No, there is no other way. We, Aegis, have caused a great blight amongst the people. It is our destiny, no, it is our right to fix what we have caused. Goodbye, my sweet Nyx. Cover them with the blanket of night." And she caresses Nyx's face as a tear drops from Nyx's eyes. And it's a sparkling tear, almost like stars in the sky. And the scene fades away. And all of you see them back into the middle of the town square. The crystal now shining brighter, albeit slightly, I wouldn't say it's bigger, but it's definitely augmented to a size and shape that seems to heighten the ability of the heaven dew that flows within it. Even the people who aren't trained in Arcana, you all feel just like a wave of magical energy wash against you as the barrier increases slightly. And everyone just kind of looks on in shock and awe. And you're all together once again, the rain continuing to fall down.
When we come back, Horatio kind of lost the focus on his arcane ward, and it's no longer protecting him from the rain.
Oh, holy visions.
What's that?
That was a vision of what has happened.
We saw them, and her. She kind of like looks up at the sky.
Cal walks up to the three of you.
Don't scare us like that. Oh my god. Totally on edge and jump as I hear your voice.
There was a dome of darkness around you all. We couldn't see you anymore. Is everything okay? I see the crystal is stronger. I guess what you did worked. Why do you all look so shocked?
I'll look up at the crystal and quickly formulate a plan and say, yes, it worked. And then in my brain, I'll say, we have things to discuss privately to all of us. I'll broadcast.
Should we head out now? I reply in brain chat. I don't want to make it obvious to the people potentially celebrating around us, seeing that the crystal is now brighter.
I'll say out loud, let us dry off and celebrate for a moment. And look towards Horatio, who's currently stone-faced, shocked, and say, come on, let's get out of the rain.
Yeah, let's move.
I send a brain chat specifically to Duran. Hey, we're heading back inside. We need to all talk. Something happened while they were dancing.
Is King all right?
He seems fine, but it seems really important. Try to get back as soon as you can.
Understood.
Meanwhile, Duran, at this point you have been serving the area. Go ahead and roll me a perception check.
Check. A 16. I'd like to spend my lucky point. I think I've got. I think I have one left of the day. I think I'm going to spend it now.
All right.
21.
21. You definitely can see the town is empty. Everyone must be at the tavern that you were once in. Looking around, the defenses look pretty weak. There's holes within the perimeter gate or walls that they put up. Definitely is not a fortified town. There are no guards or guard posts, just an entry gate. Looking down, it is a large field of golden grass and other types of crops. You do hear the sounds of demons mucking around the area, but it seems that at least the heavens do, that you think anyway, is keeping them at bay. So it doesn't look like there's any danger, but anyone can just walk in here.
This will not be a safe place to stay the night. I must warn the others.
Other than that, you don't see anything in particular. No menacing people, nothing seems to be following you or in the area. It just seems to be very quiet. Albeit eerily quiet, but this is a small village and they're all together, so whether that's ominous, a foreshadow, or just something to not pay mind to, you're not sure. But nevertheless, is there anything else you want to do, or you want to head back?
No, once Duran gets that message that he needs to turn back, he's gonna come on back.
All right. So you go ahead and turn back and make your way back towards the center of town. And the rest of you, or where are you going? At this point, you're all together. Duran's still making his way back.
I believe we would head to where we would bed for the night.
That tavern, right? Didn't it seem like they had space and rooms?
They said
Yeah.
that you had free rooms.
Should we all meet in one room? I still say over brain chat.
He replies to you like out without not through brain chat but out loud. Think we should.
Right. Coming up in the rain, you see Yannicka, and he kind of cuts in there, not reading the room, because he can't really. He just sees you all just staring at each other, not making any other type of motion. He goes, sorry to interrupt, but that was strange and incredible. Look at the crystal. It's such a strange formation. Look at the fractals in them, and I can feel that you've increased the potency of our heaven's dew. How in the world? And then what was that black sphere that surrounded you? So many questions.
Haha, you know how things are in the arcane capital. This countryside of Celos is full of magic and strange beings, and we happen to be attuned to some of the divine and greater things in this world.
Well, thank you. I'm sure this will keep us well protected, at least until we get more from the arcane capital. Thank you. You do so much for us.
We have seen the threat of the undead outside the walls of the arcane capital, so I spoke for my companions, but I do believe they agree with me that we wanted to ensure your village is safe should they not come in time. For your supplies, I mean.
I've heard rumors about the undead near the arcane capital. I assume that's what's keeping our supplies from reaching us. Usually, they always arrive promptly. I hope this does keep us protected, and thank you. Ooh, dark times are indeed ahead. But nevertheless, let's get out of the rain, and I've set up rooms for you. We have plenty of space.
Great, thanks.
And we are thankful indeed.
Oh, the pleasure's all ours. Come along now. And people are just kind of muttering to themselves as you all start walking. At this point, Duran, you pop up from the shadows behind everyone, still extremely stealthily. No one notices you, but you meet the group before they get into the tavern.
So what do we need to talk about?
Oh, welcome back.
Like with another flash of lightning, he appears.
I need a ale or wine and a couch.
Yannicka goes, we have a large communal room where we can bring up drinks for you if you all wish to stay together. Maybe a little, cozy, but it should fit all 5 of you. Or 6 if Koben wants to stay with you. Koben's not around you at this time. He already went off on his own.
Sure. Could you also clear it out? We need a little privacy.
Oh, it's already been cleared. We don't get much visitors here, though we try to keep up appearances just in case. And everyone else here has their own house. This is basically the entire town.
Thank you. You've been so accommodating.
No, you are heroes. This is the least we can do. And he just seems to be repeating that over and over again. He seems to be extremely grateful.
It's no problem. We heard of the problems plaguing this place and wanted to do our part.
And then he goes over to one of the attendants and whispers something to his ear before hobbling back over. And he goes, follow me. And he slowly begins hobbling up the staircase, using his cane to prop him up one by one, going up the staircase while he leads you up the stairs.
As we're walking up the stairs, I'll say, so you guys mainly worship Gaia in this town?
Oh, of course we worship all of the Aegis, but Gaia is the spirit, the god of the ground, of Igbriel, the earth beneath our feet. So since we are a farming community, we praise her and to give us bounty, and she blesses us with a plentiful harvest every year. It is the top of Need Fest, so this is a time when we definitely need to have as much as we can.
It's good.
And he looks over to you a second. Anyone say you look like her a little bit? In the eyes.
This first time I'm hearing that.
I guess I see it. That's quite a coincidence, Horatio.
Yeah, a little in the eyes.
Shoots daggers at cows like, yeah, what a coincidence.
And he begins continue hobbling up until eventually you get to the second floor. Walk down the the long hallway, passing other rooms until eventually you get to a room at the end. he takes out a key. He's moving and like he goes into his pocket and takes out a key, and his hands are like shaking as he slowly tries to put it into the knob. And he misses the first time, and then he gets it on the second time. There we are. And he twists it. And twisting it, he opens up the door. It squeaks as he opens it up, and then revealing inside to be a large room. There are several bunks there, about four bunks there. A carpet on the ground, and everything's made out of wood, though albeit kind of shoddy wood. A desk and a large couch.
If I may ask real quick, DM, is his hand shaking because he's old or because he's nervous?
Roll an insight check.
I don't trust nobody. 18.
Yeah, it looks like he's just old.
Okay.
He turns to you. Well, the room is yours. I asked an attendant to come up and bring food and snacks and mead if you need it, but the tavern will be closing in about a couple of hours, but there are still attendants here who can help you who also stay in the rooms. I will be staying in my house that's at the edge of town towards the south. If you need anything, you can follow the signs if you need to find any shops or anything in the morning. But you're free to stay as long as you want. You're honored guests. May the blessing of the Trias be upon you, as it has been upon us for bringing you here. And he gives you all a bow.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for your hospitality.
And he hobbles away, closing the door behind him, leaving all 5 of you inside the room. So, what would you like to do?
Horatio immediately begins putting up the dome.
Thank you, Horatio. Once that's done and we're inside, I'll spill the beans and just tell the full story.
Okay. So, King, you go ahead and explain everything that happened, how you all danced, and the 3 of you within that vicinity of the dance warped to the strange world of strange plane caught between space and time, and seeing the events that happened with the two Aegis, Nyx and Gaia, and afterwards, and then you all hear the explanation and get the full rundown.
Well, that's a change on things.
So what do you think that means now? What power did Eros find that Gaia gave up her immortal soul to prevent him from having, or hold him back from getting?
Not sure, but I'm more convinced now that Eros is Alistair.
Maybe it was Eustacia.
I think that they made it to Eustacia and then found doors elsewhere that they should never have opened.
I'm at a loss for words.
I know. It was quite a lot to take in.
And what did she say about splitting the worlds?
I think the world we live in now is the result of that.
So it was Gaia?
She said she had to do it. It was the only way to prevent Eros from getting this cataclysmic power and ruining life and making it even worse than the state it's currently in. She seems like one of the most rational of the 3. I believe that she wouldn't have done it for nefarious purposes.
It's just shocking to hear and to have seen.
Shocking is an understatement. Yeah,
Horatio, are you okay?
I think I'll be okay. Seeing her like that. I mean, I wasn't even a blip on her radar, but knowing that that's my mother, it's strange.
It was a vision. They didn't know that we were there. We couldn't have seen or interacted with them.
It was a vision of right now? I thought this was a vision of the past.
It was a vision of the past, I think.
Saw how it was.
Yeah, I too believe it was a vision of the past. I just need to find my mother.
We will.
He looks over at Minako and smiles, and I know. So what are we gonna do with this information, guys?
Would anyone believe us if we told them? Not that I think we should. It might be better to sit on this information for some time.
Yes, this is pretty challenging information, is it not?
I mean, in this country might be speaking ill of their prolepsy.
Say we keep this to ourselves until we can make more sense of it.
If anyone might know anything, it might be King Terminus.
Well, we're still on schedule to speak with him. So what, we'll just keep going?
I think we have another choice.
Seems there are just as many pressing items now as there were in the past, and somehow both are crossing, and we need to solve them.
We will.
One question is answered and 3 more proposed. It is
Our mission is still the same.
our current mission, yes.
Yeah, nothing has changed. We still have to meet with the king and deliver the letter, and maybe he will grant us a private audience where we can discuss everything.
I'm sure he knows, or at least could give us some information about all this. I mean, after all, he is King Terminus.
We should probably rest.
Should we take shifts? I mean, I think we're okay in the dome, though.
Shifts wouldn't hurt.
I took a look at the town's defenses. This town is not very safe. Not for us, not for the kind of threats we bring.
So you're saying we should go back to Delos?
I feel the longer that we stay here, the longer we draw our enemies closer, and our list of enemies has only been growing since we came here.
You make a good point.
Well,
I will take first watch.
If you think that we should go, I can return us to Thelos.
King, it costs you so much.
I'd rather wait until the morning. We can travel by Chesterful unicorns.
What if we bring danger to these cities, these citizens?
I mean, if they already know we're here, they're gonna come regardless of whether we leave or not. That danger arrives while we're here. We can defend them. It would be worse if we left and the danger arrived here.
All right.
Also, King, it's late. Even if you got us back to the Dust District, we would risk having to walk all the way back to our quarters in the Light District.
We have a safe haven in the Dust District. Where I bring us would be Sanctuary.
Oh, if we stay here, I'll make us breakfast. And we will, we won't have to, well, not that it wasn't, I'll get last shift.
All right.
Monaco has it decided then. We stay.
All right. So are you guys just going to bed for the evening and take shift staying up watch?
After Monaco goes to sleep, since she's taking last shift, I want to talk to Horatio alone.
I'll take the first shift outside of the tavern.
Duran's taking the first shift. Are you going to take the second one? Or
Well, I didn't know if we were going to have one person just like inside watching over us, and then I was going to be outside watching over the village.
What Duran was going to do was Duran's going to keep watch. He's going to activate his cloud vagary, and he's going to kind of fly around and survey the area during his shift.
Okay.
Alright. Then I'll just go down to the tavern and give Horatio and King a moment to speak and have a glass of whiskey.
All right. So you all go to either Monaco, you go to rest for the evening as it's getting late. Duran, activating your vigor, you fly on out. Throughout the rain, as lightning strikes, you disappear once again into the sky, surveying the perimeter. This is how you walk downstairs, leaving with Monaco sleeping, just Horatio and King.
Once I'm assured of the situation, I'll say to Horatio, I wanted to ask you something because I was a little startled during our scene, and I know that a lot was going on, but did you catch what Monaco did when we were dancing?
I wasn't looking at Monaco. I didn't.
I'm
15.
15. You can roll an insight check to see if you're picking up on him stumbling.
Oh my god.
Horatio is hiding something.
okay, well, sure. Anyway, with you not looking at her, well, you know that when people dance, one person leads and another person follows. And I asked her to follow, and she was. But then, halfway through our dance, so towards the end, she started to follow someone else. But she did not pass the lead to me. Did you catch that? I had to do extra spins to stay in rhythm, but it was jarring.
I mean, I don't know if I really caught that. You know that I don't even have a vagary, so dancing is not my strong suit.
Horatio, you are the most intelligent and perceptive person, especially when it comes to acute details. You remember books you've read once in a moment. Don't lie to me. This was before the gods appeared, and I know you were watching us.
Maybe possible that she might have requested some aid, but
What does that mean?
I mean, you have Myliki, I have my mind, Cal has Kalimvor. she has her deity. And when he says deity, he kind of like nods his head and rolls his eyes.
I don't feel as if you were being completely honest with me, but it was an extremely taxing day, so I won't press this any further. Good night, Horatio. Thanks for the safety of the dome.
King, you know that whenever you need me, I have your back, right?
Yeah, I know you do. Just like I have your back as well.
Thank you. Have a good night.
I'm gonna go over to the other side of the dome and go to sleep.
All right. So after having your conversation, though a little on edge, with your insight, you definitely feel something's being held back. Paying it no mind, though, you go and rest. And Horatio, as you loom about that and prepare for your slumber, you hear a voice in your head. Horatio Dulerian Keen, it is I, Judean son Fell. I have completed the task and found something very interesting. Come to Decopolis as soon as you can. Cuts off right there. You can reply, as you know, you feel like this is the sending spell.
I will be there first thing tomorrow morning. That's all I say.
Okay. He doesn't respond or send another sending, and communications are shut off.
Horatio looks at King, and then he looks over at Monaco, and he just takes a deep breath and goes to bed.
Okay. So, Cal, you are down in a tavern, you said, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, so after about an hour of you down there, and people are starting to leave, and the bartender just giving you whatever food and drinks you want, not asking for any payment. The door opens up again, and you turn around, and you see, completely dry, as he also has prestidigitation, is Koben, who takes off his hood and begins walking over. He notices you and starts to walk on over to you. Ah, Cal! Great that I ran into you.
What's going on, Koban?
Well, you really worried me when you mentioned something about undead being in Thelos, so I've been having conversations and doing some divination myself. That's why I had to step away. And I think you're onto something. You said it was the Bloodlen, right?
That's correct.
Well, I definitely sense a powerful undead. I mean, not just normal undead zombies and things like that, but I mean, immortal creatures that are beyond my understanding. Not to mention, there's, from what I've gathered, a slew of undead heading towards Thelos. I don't know if it's connected or not, but I know I don't want to ask too much of you all, but I don't know if you can assist me in investigating this Bloodlen. I don't like the scourge of the underworld and undead and demons in my city.
I can agree with that. This is what I know. There's a woman named Drusilla. She seems to be in charge of the Bloodlen.
I'm familiar with her. I've heard that Drusilla's a very powerful aristocrat and has dealings even with the nobles of Thelos, though she's very mysterious. No one's really seen her face.
That's what I hear. I hear she's nothing but a game of shadows. And she's been around with the nobility this long. I'm sure she has many puppets acting on behalf of her.
Right. And she's controlling the undead, or an undead herself? I'm not sure, but I can't let this knowledge just stand idly by. But this is not the most alarming news. I have ties with the court of King Terminus, and when I brought this up, I was hastily told to shut up and to not dig my nose in things I have no business digging it into. Which, I mean, I've never been so insulted before.
Who did you inquire with, and who told you to see yourself out of it?
I have a contact by the name of Sirio Catal. He's the one who gets me quests from the king, or from the court, to go and eradicate demons and the sort. And, I don't know. He's just 180'd on me.
Well, I will say that strange forces have been gaining traction in these lands, and people may not appear to be as they normally do, or act, I should say. I've seen allies change tunes completely on us. and I fear that the demons and now with what you're saying, maybe even this Drusilla person is getting involved, eating out Thelos from the inside out, rotting it to the core.
And I don't want to let that happen, not in my city.
No, I've already seen what it can do, and have you heard of Hiei? You're familiar with some of the demon dancers.
He puts his fingers to his temple, and kind of furrows his brow. Hiei. Let's roll for him a history check. Yes! If my lore is correct, he was next in line as the demon dancer daimyo, but his brother, what's his name again?
Kai.
Kaijin, yeah. His brother took over, and it was a whole hubbub. It even reached over here to Thelos, but any case, he just disappeared one day. Why?
Let's just say Hiei has been resuming power.
Wait, what?
Why we're here. Part of our whole deal. We have very important dealings with King Terminus, and unfortunately the soonest we can meet with him is at the gala. Otherwise, I would do almost anything to be talking to him right now.
Oh, well, the gala is important. It's kind of like a festival gathering at the end of Need Fest to celebrate the new year. Only the elite get to go in there, and even I'm not invited. Oh no, I'm not an elite. But yeah, that'll be a great time and opportunity to speak to him. But so you are envoys to deliver a message to him? Would you mind if I asking what?
The matter is sensitive, and I don't think it would be wise, especially just here in some tavern, to be
You're right.
about it.
You're right, yes.
But I just grow frustrated waiting for this gala when time is of the essence. And, I mean, you saw what happened today with that water demon. These aren't the type of things you can just wait a few days on because of bureaucracy. People's lives and livelihoods are at stake.
He gets in a little closer towards you. Well, if you ask me, if King Terminus, although powerful indeed, he was an adventurer, I've heard, back in his day. He's saved the realm several times. He's partnered with Queen Camilla, as well as other powerful adventurers. So I was told. But I feel like he's just a figurehead.
Well, what kind of stories have you been told? Anything about a Galilia Stelion?
Oh. Well, yes, actually. I heard Galilia Stelion was an astute and powerful artificer who built many weapons for the Unity Knights to defeat demons, to basically put them on par with the demon dancers and their mystical blades. I've never met him myself, but I hear he is quite legendary.
You're right about that.
And, well, there's one thing that does concern me. As you know, I was a retired member of the Corporis Arcana, and they pretty much run everything in Thelos, even up to the king himself. They control what information he gets, and then you wait for him to, at least I believe they wait for him to deem what to do next. Though I'm starting to get a little curious onto what the powers that Judean Sunfell, he's the archmage, has with King Terminus. I would think with everything that's happening with these demons that are more rowdy and this undead that we've heard that's been attacking the areas of Thelos, that they would have put more of an effort to put a stop to it, but we haven't heard news from King Thelos, and everyone just pretends it doesn't exist, or that it's under control, which obviously we saw this powerful demon. That normally doesn't happen, not to that degree.
I take a long sip of whiskey and let out a sigh, and that's what worries me. For someone who used to be such an adventurer, to just sit back and be told things secondhand without wanting to be an active part of what's going on, just it doesn't sound right. It doesn't sit well with me.
You mean the king?
Yes. Whenever we met with the queen, she was eager to get on top of things, and I just can't imagine the king being very different I fear that the Arcanist may not have everyone's best interest.
Well, back in my day, the Corporus was... Well, I mean, we've delved in things that can be described as shady, but we had our minds in the right place. Ever since Judain took over this as the Archmage for Duskhaven, I don't know. I was long retired by then, but...
How long ago was that?
It's been, 20 years now?
That he's been in charge, or that you've been retired?
Oh, that I've been retired. He's been in charge for about 10 years. Him and his wife. And I actually trust her the least. She's very... She delves in some strange magics and augmentations that I can't wrap my head around. I remember one time she attempted to take my infusion magic and warp it in some perverted way, using it to give false energy and false powers to non-mages, and they came with very questionable results. Let's just say a lot of them can't walk straight anymore.
That sounds barbaric.
Alas, they are the Archmages, so who am I to judge their decision? In any case, I tell you this in hopes that maybe we can work together in seeding out this evil that seems to be in our city. Whether it's anything to do with the Corporus, as they seem to be trying to hide something, at least not let me know. Or is it just this bloodline? I don't know. Just, if you're going to be speaking about this, please be very careful on who you talk to and keep your eyes peeled. I don't trust them, and I'm afraid that I might be on their radar now that I brought it up to Sirio Catal.
Well, even more of a reason to stick with us then. They've thrown spies at us. I mean, I highly doubt that the Arcanum trusts us. I think that they're really listening to everything that happens at the place we're staying at in the Light District. So,
Indeed.
If they want to know our moves, you can join us, and at least you'll have nothing to worry about. They'll already know, right?
Maybe. Well, I would love to join you guys. I mean, I don't know how much help I can bring. You guys are well over my power. But
well, at least be a good contact for what's been going on with the Bloodline. I'm sure you know more people in this city.
I'm not going to let go of this Bloodline. It will be my next top priority. As a hunter of the undead and demons, it is my job to protect. And out of all the other hunters, I am the most esteemed in all of Delos, he says, and he props himself a little bit, showing himself to be proud. But there's one thing I wish to do for you, if you don't mind. I notice, and sorry for prying, that you do have some mystical crystals there, as well as not so mystical. Can I see those too? He says, pointing to your non-magic guns.
Sure. And I pull them off of my shoulder holsters and lay them on the bar.
He goes ahead and grabs them. Do you mind if I keep these for the night?
Sure.
And he goes ahead and puts them into his bag of holding. I'll get this back to you. I want to test something out. Like I said, I'm a infuser. I chose my focus in the Corporus to be able to augment magical items, and I want to see what I can do for you here. Be it, I'm not extremely powerful, but it could be something that I teach you or possibly Master Dularian to do in the future. I've been looking for someone to carry down my abilities to, so it just doesn't die off. Unfortunately, this is something that no one else was really able to pick up in the Corporus. Not to this degree, anyway.
Yeah, that would be amazing. I'm sure Horatio would love to learn from you.
I mean, I'll probably learn more than him. He is a Dularian after all. But it's the least I can do to thank you all for helping me. But before I do anything, I need to practice first. I have a room upstairs. I'm going to call it a night.
Okay. Don't stay up too late on my behalf.
Oh, don't you worry about me. These old bones still have a lot of kick in them, he says, flexing his muscles, which bulbous out of his clothes. And he bids you farewell before heading upstairs.
I finish my whiskey shortly after and head back upstairs myself.
All right. Duran, you go out there. You don't see nothing changes in the distance as you check the area. For at least for your watch, the perimeter is safe. Albeit you do hear demons, of course, out into the distance, but none of them come any closer towards you. And then, so you all take your turns going through each of your watches. Whether you go outside or not is up to you. But the night passes by with no events, is peaceful, and at the end, you all complete the long rest, waking up from the dome. Those of you who slept into the dome, if you didn't, then you woke up where you did wake up. And the rain slowly fades away in the wee hours of the morning, and you all awake. And there, we will take a break.
Hey there, Dungeon Delvers. Thank you for listening. I would like to take this time to thank all of the wonderful people who helped bring Descent into the Void, a tale of D20s to life. Starting with Frank Freire, who designed our character art, Kyle Misko, who collaborated on the main, mystical, and night theme songs, Manuel Lapuca, who collaborated on our battle and adventuring theme song, Jan Rosa for the use of their original soundtracks, David Chappell for the use of his End of Silence, A World of Color soundtrack, MFY for the use of their Dragon Castle Symphony for Duran's theme song, and Danny.Phantom.01 for creating the Liberators' full art. You can find more about these wonderful artists on our website, ataleofd20s.com. Now click on to part 2, and let's continue our epic tale.